listening to Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
two certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only two best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go. Happy May. I love May.
I love May too.
May's a great month.
Especially, so we're in Virginia. Well, you are, at least for a little while, in Virginia.
Yeah, I'm currently, literally, physically in Virginia.
That's true. And I just feel like this is like the best month.
I disagree. I feel like,
well, and this is
October is the best month.
Okay. That's true. That's true. There's like two prime months in this.
I don't know. April's pretty good too. It rains a lot though.
It can be rainy.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan.
Okay. No one cares about the weather in Virginia.
No, I know. But it is a lovely month. And there's like a lot of spring energy. And I feel like I want to just, I'm in like.
Do you want to be a dog who's rolling around on the grass right now?
I do.
Yeah.
And I haven't traditionally been somebody who feels the urge for spring cleaning, but this year I am. Mm-hmm. I want to declutter. I want to get stuff out of the house. I want
agree more.
Clean. Like I just am really feeling the spring new start cleaning energy.
Spent 4.5 hours cleaning Joseph's house last weekend, if you'll recall.
And you spent 6 hours deep cleaning your place.
I've been cleaning a lot. And I found like a random $100, like just under one of his
thanks universe
dressers. And then I gave it to him and he's like, thanks. And I was like, no, that was my cleaning fee. I want that. He didn't give it to me. He was like, I'm gonna end up spending it on you anyway. I was like,
that's probably true.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so before we dive into our 3 questions for Dear Krachel, let me be the first, and who else other than Kristen would be the first to remind you that today is the last day of our official coaching enrollment period, meaning that after today, we may not. Well, I don't know. It just depends. We record these in advance, so I don't know how many spots. I like how I'm getting defensive. I don't know how many spots we have left. I don't know, okay? But I don't know. And we only had 10-ish. And so maybe all of those are gone. So after this point, no guarantees that you'll be able to work with us. Of course, you're always welcome to fill out a form and see what our availability is. And we will let you know or schedule a chat with you maybe for like a month out or something like that, depending. So today's a great day to decide, screw it, I'm going to get my life together. It's May. Capitalize on that spring cleaning energy and spring clean your soul,
your life and
your career and your relationships and like generally your direction and your sense of purpose and ease and feminine energy and masculine energy. And I could go on. Patterns from childhood, attachment trauma. Would you like to spring clean all of it? We literally do all of that. It's like a full service cleaning, I don't know, company that Kristen and I
feel like
here.
You're in an infomercial. Like, but wait, there's more. We can spring clean this and that.
But wait, I've seen some like really cool cleaning tools that there's like a whole section now that Kristen knows. I'm informing her of this for the first time. There's like a whole section of TikTok that is like cleaning. I want to say porn, but it's not porn. It's like
yeah, I
it's
get
like
the vibe.
The satisfaction of watching people deep clean stuff.
Yeah.
And people have made like a whole section of TikTok about this. I love watching them because they're doing things that I never even thought to clean. They're like taking the knobs off of the oven. Oh. And I didn't even know you could take those off. Guess what? You can, and you can clean under them. And then you can soak them in hot water and like get all the gunk off of them. Right.
I have been listening to decluttering and cleaning podcasts that give you the same kind of vibe, but I like the video element that you're talking about.
So they have all these tools that like, they have like a little steam cleaner for your windows. So you can like literally like perfectly clean your windows. This one guy has like this teeny little bucket and mop thing that is specifically for cleaning baseboards. Just for cleaning baseboards. And anyway, I feel like you and I have that arsenal of cleaning implements and tools for people's insides.
And I will say the tools matter, because I was trying to vacuum my house with a old traditional vacuum
with a cord.
Finally, with a cord, and it's like not very.
You became a real adult.
I did.
And I bought a Dyson.
I bought a Dyson. And when you have dogs, it is a life changer. And I'm telling you, I'm vacuuming every day. Literally every day. It's just like 5 minutes. Just pull it off, vacuum up all the dog hair every single day. And I feel so much better about my life. So tools matter.
Tools matter. And quality matters.
We have the right tools for this job.
We do.
That was a convoluted way to bring it back. But
I think it all made perfect sense. I don't know about you.
It feels right. It feels right to me.
So, I mean, I don't know. Do you need like the baseboard cleaner for the corners of your life? You might. And guess what? You don't even know that. I mean, I didn't even know that existed, and you probably didn't either. And guess what? That does exist. Also for your insides. I don't know. I have that tool. I don't know what to equate it to, but I know I have it. So
we do have quite an arsenal.
We do.
Quite an arsenal.
It's really large. After like 12 years, it's like we haven't gotten rid of any tools for the most part. We just keep acquiring ones and servicing them too. Like they're up to date.
It's like I have a whole garage full, not just like a little pantry, like a full garage full of tools.
Warehouse even.
Yeah, maybe warehouse.
So, and I know how to use them, all of them.
And you can borrow them when we work together.
Yeah, I'll use them on you. You don't even have to do anything. You don't you have to do some stuff.
You have to do some stuff.
But yeah, isn't that nice that like you're just trying to clean your house right now? And like, oh my God, you probably have the vacuum equivalent of Joseph's old vacuum, which literally spat out as much dust as it was collecting. And I hated it so much. And I said it had to go. And then he put it in the basement and refused to get rid of it. But anyway, my vacuum is now the main vacuum. So progress, but it's not a Dyson yet.
No, I'm telling you.
My interior tools are better than my external tools. Let's just be honest.
That's for sure.
So anyway, maybe that's what you've got going. And it's really hard to do it by yourself because you don't have the proper tools or the experience or the know-how.
Or the time or energy.
Nor are you a cleaning expert. So, nor have you dedicated like 12 years of your life specifically to cleaning. And I have. So if you would like that kind of like deeply satisfying clean for your soul and your life and, you know, your patterns and all of those things that need an upgrade, great. Let's talk.
We got you covered.
ClarityOnFire.com/coaching. I don't know how many spots we have left. Again, who knows? But if you fill out the form today, I guarantee you we will set up a conversation and we will talk to you about the possibility and we'll walk you through which option would be best for you, 6 months or 3 months. And, if it's good, if it's the right fit for you, great, we'll move forward. If it's not, that's also okay. You don't have to do it. You can go find cleaning somewhere else. Or not do it at all. Whatever. I'm not going to make you do it, right? I'm not going to clean your house unless I have consent.
No,
unless you really want me there. Otherwise, I'm just a weird person in your space.
Not my goal.
You paid to be there and now you don't want them there and now it's awkward. So like, no, we're not doing that. So, okay, think about it. But not for too long because today's the last day. And fill out a form and let's talk. Okay.
And no guarantees of when we open this back up again. We have no idea.
No,
exactly
we're flying by the seat of our pants.
This is a weird year in a lot of ways. So we're taking it as it comes.
All right. Kristen, would you like to read our first question?
All right, let's jump in. Hi, Krachel. I've been out in the working world for almost 10 years now, and I'm still barely scraping by. It's always a trend of the next job will fix it. But the truth is, I hate changing jobs, and I just like to stay put and focus on my hobbies. Unfortunately, one of my hobbies is travel. I'd love to be able to go somewhere outside of the US, but my plans get derailed at the simple cost of a plane ticket, never mind a rental car and a hotel. Right now, I basically float from 1 year's 2-week vacation to the next, no flying anywhere. I know you don't have a crystal ball to tell me when it will get better, but what in the world can I do? I don't have the energy for a side gig right now, and I don't want to change jobs. I also can't afford coaching. Basically, how can I make a better wage in this economy without completely changing my job? I definitely got fire starter when I took the passion profile quiz, but the only fires I seem to start are the bridges I burn. Thank you for answering my question, and that is from Blue Millennial.
I'm going to compliment Blue Millennial on the absolute poetry of the only fires I seem to start are the bridges I burn. I mean, Taylor Swift could have written that.
Very vivid imagery too. I love that.
I mean, I hope that's a compliment to you because obviously Blue Millennial coming from me, that is the highest of praise. Okay. So Blue Millennial, I'm going to I hope you don't interpret what I'm about to say as a call out, but if you do, so be it. I'll live with it. And we're going to get somewhere. Okay. Just have faith and trust in the process. Okay. So this is one of those situations where it's okay, we've been presented with a problem and yet we have no it's we don't have enough wiggle room at all. It's this problem. Let me recap our problem. I need to make more money, but I don't want to change my job. But I want to focus on my hobbies.
I have no energy for a side gig.
But I have no energy for a side
But
gig.
I'm a fire starter.
But I'm a fire starter.
But I want to keep my job without making any changes. But I want to just make more money.
Yeah.
And I think that will solve all the rest of my
and
satisfaction.
So you can see how that is sort of a straitjacket of a conundrum.
Oh, no wonder you feel stuck.
Exactly. I mean, I'm with you on the straitjacket of this situation and feeling the inescapableness of it. And I would be feeling blue as well if this is the situation I found myself in. So if you haven't, Blue Millennial, I'm going to give you a homework assignment, and it is to go back 1 week and listen to our Message from the Universe episode, because I think you need to hear it. And this advice is going to apply to you, and it's going to apply to anyone who finds themselves in a situation where they're well, I need to do this, but I can't do this. And the economy is like this, so I can't, right? Where it's you have seemingly no room to maneuver. Okay. This is when we say, screw it, I can't figure this out. This is the universe's job. Mm-hmm. When all else fails, we outsource. And I think for a couple of reasons, this could be a good idea for you. Now, of course, I don't know you. I don't know how open you are to a higher power of any kind. I don't know if you believe in the universe being a sentient and benevolent force that wants to guide you and help you and support you in your life. I would like for you to believe that. It would be my hope that you are open to that, even a sliver open to that, because everything I'm about to say next would be a lot more doable if you were, okay? But if you are even just slightly open to being guided and not having to figure all of this out yourself, I think this could all get so much easier. Because I think part of the reason you feel heavy and you feel blue is because you are tired of trying to figure this issue out with your mind. And you have reached the limitations of how your mind can solve such problems. How do I make more money, but also without changing jobs? But also, I want to travel, but I'm too tired to try to make more money with a side gig. You have exhausted your mental capacity to solve this problem. And so therefore, it's kind of time to invite the universe in to show you the way and open doors that you cannot possibly open on your own. And to that end, what I really want you to do, if you haven't, is, and for anyone who's listening to this who is resonating and has not listened to the episode that I am about to mention, I'm going to need you to work your thumbs out and scroll all the way back to November of 2018, the very first year we even had a podcast, 6 years ago, and listen to our bonus book club from, again, November 2018, Outrageous Openness by Tosha Silver, which is my and Kristen's favorite little book. It's so short. It's so digestible, about how to do exactly what we're talking about. Let go of your mind's need to solve all of your life's problems and let what she calls the divine, but also you can call it whatever you want, take the lead. And it's so doable and tangible, and it has actual fun examples in it. And the whole thing is lighthearted and playful, and it's not serious, but it also is in my mind, incredibly helpful and actually doable. And I want you to just consider opening yourself to the possibility that you don't have to solve this conundrum and you don't have to figure out what maneuver to make, that there might be some miracle that could exist for you. And by miracle, I don't mean oh, the heavens parted and a job fell from the sky. I mean a shift can happen that changes the game that you never would have expected. but you're not allowing in right now because you're trying so hard to control it yourself, but you're not getting anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I want to look at this as well from a passion profile perspective. And ultimately, it's going to lead to the exact same outcome and the exact same wisdom that Rachel just gave. But it's going to maybe connect some dots for you about why you got in this straitjacket and why you can't wriggle your way out. You have to almost relax your way out. You said you are definitely a fire starter. You took the quiz. It was a very clear fire starter answer. And yet, what you're describing as your desires feel very much like a thriver mindset. You just want to keep this job. You don't really want to change things up. You just want to kind of keep it status quo so that you can focus on your hobbies. That sounds like a thriver to me. And yet you are a fire starter. This is a common scenario.
Yeah. Though I think she might be a secondary thriver.
She might be. There might be some of that, and that might be very genuine. And I see a lot of fire starters who, when they hit a level of burnout or feeling trapped, they temporarily will act like a thriver. It's one of the few like false positives that I think our passion profile system can suss out. You might be acting like one when really you're just a burnt out fire starter. With that in mind, if you're a burnt out fire starter who feels trapped, which by the way, a fire starter's biggest desire is freedom. Everything comes back to wanting freedom. And if you feel trapped in a straitjacket, you can't even leave physically. You feel like you're trapped location wise. I can't go to all the places I want to travel. I can't see everything, which also might be a little bit of a desire for escape when you feel burnt out. I'm not saying travel is not a true desire of yours, but you might want it more right now when you feel trapped than you would need if your life didn't feel so constricting. But not only are you feeling trapped geographically, but you're feeling trapped in your day-to-day life. You don't feel like there's really any good solutions. It's no wonder you're burnt out because your greatest desire is for freedom and you do not feel free right now. So what I also know about fire starters is they usually, when they are not burnt out and when they are embodying more of their true fire starter nature, they can have boundless energy for things that truly light them up, that they are on fire about, that they are lit up about. And you can't be burnt out and lit up at the same time. So the first thing that is going to be critical for Blue Millennial is you got to heal this burnout because you are suppressing your fire starter side, which is a part of you that is full of ideas, full of passion and inspiration and desire to throw yourself into something that you care about. You're a creator by nature, but you're not feeling any of that right now. It is just absent because you're exhausted and burnt out and you feel trapped. So now we circle back to what Rachel was just saying. You have to stop trying to figure this out with your mind. You have to stop trying to decide, what am I going to do? What course of action? How do I manipulate all the circumstances to give me more of what I think I want, which is more money in this job without making any changes? Really what you want is freedom. That's what you want. You want freedom to travel. You want freedom to spend your time doing more of the things you want to be doing. That you can give yourself in little bits now without buying a plane ticket, without making any drastic changes. What would give you a little bit more sense of freedom today, in the next hour? What would make you feel a little bit more like life was not so hard and heavy, but a little bit more playful? And if you don't have the answer, that's fine. Let that answer come to you. But that is what is required here. We have to take some of the pressure off to fix this right now. Because you're actually, by putting that pressure on, by feeling that stress, by feeling that constriction, you're suppressing your connection to a greater power, which can provide all the help and support and miracle solutions that you need. You're also suppressing your fire starter nature of ideas and passion and enthusiasm and energy. So the answer is actually simple. It might feel hard, but it's simple, which is it's not your job to figure this out right now. It's your job to insert a little bit more freedom, a little bit more trust, a little bit more playfulness into every day so that the answers can come to you, because your mind is not going to create them from this space. It's going to feel like a constant knot that you can't untie.
I want to give you one example before we end this very long answer to Blue Millennial, which is when you get to the point where you can let go a little bit of needing to figure this out with your mind and allowing something else to take over. I'm thinking of a time when I was, it was a long time ago when had a I had a job, and that job was kind of going to be eliminated to a degree. And it was like, but I can't not have a job. Like, this is really scary. And I was like, okay, but I can't figure this out with my mind. And so I really just like, it's like, all right, universe is going to have to come through and like give me an answer to this. And I trust it's coming. And like, I don't know, within like a week or something like that, I like got the idea to pitch a new role for myself that they ended up loving, and then they created a new role for me. So that's what happens when you like, that's what I'm talking about when like you got to get out of your own way and you got to like let something else come through. It's not like it's going to hand you a new job. It might hand you an idea for a new job, which everything Kristen's saying is actually complementary to what I am saying.
Exactly.
Which is when you can access a little bit more freedom, fun, playfulness in spite of your blueness, you will encourage those ideas and inspiration to come through, which is, I think, your biggest role right now. And your most important task is to just do that. Not try to figure out how do I make more money without changing jobs? That's not the right question. So we just gave you a lot to think about. We gave you a whole homework assignment. So I'm going to go ask you to listen to that episode and start practicing some outrageous openness and see what happens. Expect like things to start changing if you start implementing that. And a lot of people listening to this can attest, because a lot of people listening to this have already heard Kristen and I go on and on about outrageous openness. That's for sure. Okay, let's talk. Second question. I work in a fairly large organization with a pretty rigid hierarchy. I'm not sure why, but my boss's boss seems to hate me. She's frequently dismissive, rude, condescending, abrasive, and judgmental. I don't think I'm the only person she treats that way, but the problem is that she has input on my performance review, so I kind of need her to like me if I'm to ever get promoted. Except she doesn't know me or my work well enough to even give fair input on my performance review in the first place, given how dismissive she is of most people beneath her. I need to somehow find a way to build a better rapport with her, but how do you create a relationship with a higher up who wants nothing to do with you? Renee.
Oh, that's so frustrating. Honestly, some of the most challenging parts of people's jobs is dealing with.
No, truly, that's the worst part of most people's jobs is the people. It's not even the job itself. It's like how difficult other people will make your job.
I will say I appreciate Renee's awareness on this, that this boss's boss doesn't seem to be singling her out personally. I think a lot of people take this very personally.
I'm taking it personally. Renee's like, no, she's just a bitch.
She does this to everybody. That's just kind of how she is. And yet I still, my job and my job performance is affected by this person who is not, I mean, frankly, just not a great leader. Those are not the characteristics of a great leader. So how do I work with a great leader or a terrible leader who impacts my job?
Okay, here's what I would do. I would acknowledge and validate this person's perceived difficulties. Okay, I'm not saying you have to agree with what I'm going to suggest in that, like, oh, your life's so hard. It might not be, right? But like, I'm assuming that if she's so abrasive and mean, it's like she's struggling on some level. She's hurting on some level. Now, her hurt's probably old. It's probably from childhood, and you were not going to go point that out to her.
It also could be something that has nothing to do with work. She might be having personal issues, and it is leaching into her work relationships. Sure. We don't need to know the circumstances of why.
We don't.
But clearly something, she's not happy.
No, you didn't make her like this.
No.
Something else did. So what I would suggest is being transparent and upfront and starting with acknowledging and validating her experience, which would sound something like, hey, seems like, or I imagine, it's probably the better way to say it. I imagine that you've got a lot of responsibility on your plate, and you've got a lot of people to oversee, a lot of people to give, feedback to. And that's probably a big weight, or I could see how that could be a big weight on somebody's shoulders. And that's understandable given, how far you've come or how hard you worked to get here, whatever, right? And okay, so we're going to acknowledge and validate the person's experience so that I think what we don't want is to make them feel piled on.
It can be very disarming, and it can be a way to lower someone's defenses who has their defenses really, really
Which this
high
person
up.
Does, is to just call out what you're seeing and not, hey, you're a huge bitch. But hey,
show a little empathy, a little understanding.
Empathy for and understanding for, oh, wow, you're doing a lot. I see that. I see you. Even people like that really respond well to being seen most of the time. So if you make them feel seen in some way, then it's so much easier for you to go, and I would really like to, have 5 minutes of your time to, or whatever. I mean, I don't know what the ask is specifically, of course, because we're not in your situation, and I really want to do well at this job. And I'm sure you want me to do well at this job. Assuming that they agree with you is such making a presumptive statement like that is so powerful, because they can't disagree with you. They can't be like, no, I don't want you to do well. Right. Right. So saying, and I know you must want me to do well too. I feel that the best way to do that is for you to have more insight into how I'm doing this, so that when we get time to give my performance review, you can give me truly helpful feedback, or truly pointed feedback that I need for my development. How can we create how can we have a conversation about that? Or how can we create a win-win around that? Something like that. Make them feel seen, and then be specific about what it is you're asking for, and make it clear that you're trying to, create a win-win so that everybody succeeds.
And I think you can do this in a way. I think the win-win is the really critical point here. I get the impression that somebody who is in higher up leadership in a big organization like that probably has way too much on their plate. They're probably really overworked. And if they're responsible for a lot of people, they might, and I'm not saying this is an okay mentality to have as a leader, but I think it's a common one to feel like all the people that you're responsible for, each one feels heavy. It's the more people I'm in charge of, the more responsibility I feel, and that can make you kind of resentful. But if you are treating this like a win-win, hey, I want to do really well. I know you want to do well too, and I know you want me to do well because I'm a reflection of your leadership. How can I help you? How can I essentially make it easier for you to do your job? So if part of her job or his job, I don't know, can't remember what you said, if it's a woman or a man.
It's a woman.
Is if this woman, part of her job is to do these performance reviews, then it actually is helpful to her if you provide some insight.
Yeah. You can say, I'd like to make your job easier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'd like you to not have to overly think about this. I'd like to just let you know what's going on so you have clear insight. So it's really easy for you to do this performance review. And it's really easy to report up how this team is doing. That is a true win-win, because you do want to be seen and you do want her to have clear insight into your work, but she needs to do that anyway as a leader.
Yeah.
You frame it in the perspective of, I want to help you.
Unfortunately, with people like this, you often have to connect the dots for how this is in their best interest.
Because so many people are asking things of them, especially if they've got all these people they're responsible for. Everybody's coming to them. Can I get this from you? Or can you do this? Or can you do this? It's just more.
You're saying do this for you.
I want to make your job a little easier because I think you're probably really overwhelmed.
Yeah. I want to do this for you. And that thing is actually you helping me.
Yeah. It's a win-win though.
Yeah. But truly that's how you appeal to this person, I think, is by making it feel like it's in their best interest and that it's actually helpful and a relief and less things on their plate by just making their life easier. Mm-hmm. And say it like that.
This is a good way to communicate with anybody, especially difficult people, but anybody who maybe you need some more time with or you need something from. The reason you need it, especially at work, is probably for the sake of the team, for the sake of the overall success of the mission. So frame it like that. Instead of, I need this from you, it's in order for us to reach this goal that we both have, this is something that would help me help you reach that goal.
Help me help you. Mm-hmm. Okay. Last question.
Okay. Need a sip of water.
Okay. That's probably for the best. Mm-hmm. We don't need hydrated. We don't need mouth noises on this podcast.
We don't. Third question. I always love your message from the universe episodes. And in recent years, I've gotten better at tapping into my intuition, paying attention to signs and that sort of thing. I act on my intuitive nudges pretty often, but lately I'm wondering, do I need to act on all of them? How do you decide which nudges to act on? What's the difference between acting on a nudge and getting distracted by a shiny object? And that is from Maddie. Kind of a few questions in this one.
It is, but okay. So do I need to act on all of your nudges? Definitely not. No. Are some things shiny objects that you're mistaking for nudges? Maybe. I mean, you're human.
Yeah, probably. We don't always perfectly interpret the universe.
But in the universe's language, there is no such thing as like a wrong turn or like a wrong path. So even if you do follow a shiny object, the universe is just going to find a way to give you a nudge down that path too. So like, it's not that big of a deal. But what I think I can just answer this in a very simple way, which is if you're confused about whether or not something is a shiny object or a nudge, just wait. Wait for more information, to quote our book club episode on attached with Amanda, which is something that anxiously attached people need to get good at. It's just like, hold on, just wait. There will be more information forthcoming that will help you calm down or make a decision. The same is true here. If you get a nudge and you're not sure what it is, and you're not sure if you should act on it, wait, because you're probably going to get another nudge if it's legit. Or you can ask. This is what I love. Circling back to Blue Millennial and asking her to develop a relationship of some kind with the universe so that she doesn't have to do it all by herself. You can be like, okay, if that was a nudge, can I get like a very overt and obvious sign about it? Like soon? And like, please make it so obvious that I can't mistake it. You can literally do that. And then if you get an overt sign, great. If not, okay. Like maybe it's not. Again, wait some more if you need to. Mm-hmm. I promise that when something is really aligned with you and you need to be doing it, it will get louder. The longer you do not act on it, the more obvious it will become that you should, because things will either fall apart because you're not doing that thing, or, the signs and the synchronicities will just start to flood in and things will get weird. It'll become obvious. If you give it long enough, it always does.
And on the note of asking for clarification, I'm going to harken back to our reference to outrageous openness, because this is one of my favorite things from that book. A specific way that you can ask for clarification is you might say, I think that this is a sign or a nudge. I'm going to act accordingly, and I'm going to take action on that nudge. If I'm wrong, please stop me. Or please provide a clarifying sign. Or the same can be in reverse. You might say, maybe that was a nudge, but I think it might have just been a shiny object. I'm not going to do anything with that one. But if I'm wrong, and that really was you, universe, saying, hey, I like this for you. Please go down this path. Then again, please provide another one, or please initiate this in a new way. So you can always say, I'm going to move ahead with what I want to do in the situation or what I think is going on, but I'm very open to course corrections, essentially. So you can just wait. If you're like, I really don't know, I really have no idea, you just wait for another sign, or wait for life to insert something to make it clear. Or if you do want to take action, be open to the fact that maybe I interpreted that wrong. And if you want to stop me, you can stop me. The universe can stop you if it's trying to veer you onto a new path. Trust me, it will do that. But it doesn't mean, sometimes waiting feels really good, like a relief. And sometimes you can get tired of waiting and you can say, I'm going to do this, but I also want to be stopped if I'm wrong.
And, again, even if you do it, and even if, you're like, wait, why did I do that? That doesn't feel like there was a point to that. I guarantee you, with enough hindsight, you'll be like, oh, okay, I understand why that had to happen. Again, all roads lead to where it is you're supposed to be going anyway. So even if you take a nudge and you go down a path that you later question, it's all good. You're still headed in an okay direction.
What I love about Maddie's question, though, is you're getting a lot of nudges.
That's great.
That means you have done the work to open yourself up to even being aware of and receiving those nudges. And again, you always have free will. That's kind of the beauty of life, is the universe can give you all kinds of nudges. You still get to choose which ones you act on and which ones you don't. Doesn't mean it won't give you more. Doesn't mean it won't try to redirect you if it really thinks you're going down the wrong path. But you don't have to do anything. I mean, it usually works a little smoother when you follow the nudges, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. And the fact that you're getting them is just a really great sign of your growth and your internal work. So kudos for that. And if you miss some signs, or if you misinterpret some signs, that's okay. You're fine tuning. And you're never going to get it perfect, because the universe doesn't speak the same exact language that we do. We're always doing a little bit of interpretation, and we're never going to always quite understand, but ask for clarification.
Okay. So, obviously we want to hear how that resonated with the people who asked the questions, as well as the people who are listening. And I'm guaranteeing you, some of you probably felt like you could have written one of those questions. So any comments, please link in show notes, and you can leave us a comment there. You can always email us too. We don't mind getting emails. contact@clarityonfire.com. Sometimes we even like it. And if one of the nudges you've been receiving is about coaching, well, I mean, I don't even know how to make it more obviously. Like, this is a sign. You should probably consider doing it. Know what I mean? If that's one of your nudges, then maybe it's time to act on it, because today is the last day.
And you can't wait to ask for clarification, but I would maybe just act on this one and then ask the universe because it's the last day. We do have a little bit of a deadline. And you can always ask the universe, if this is right, please make it really obvious when I talk to Kristen or Rachel. And if it's not right now, please also make that obvious. But I'm going to at least take this action.
Exactly. Sometimes you need to start heading in the direction of something in order to get clear about whether it's really your path, which is why we have those initial conversations with people, is we want to get clear on where you're at. What is it you feel like you need? What do you need help with? Does what we have to offer align with what we think you need? And at this point, we're pretty good at figuring that out. And then we can go from there. So you don't have to know 100% in order to start moving in a direction. You can get clear because you started moving, which is just good advice, and as well as relevant to this current coaching enrollment. So link in show notes, and/or clarityonfire.com/coaching. Scroll down, find the sign me up link, and fill out that form. It'll take you, maybe 10 minutes, maybe less, depending on how much you choose to write. You could write a novel, you could not. I mean, I do like to have enough information to understand you a little bit. That's helpful. And then we can schedule a call with you. So, and just FYI, for those of you who maybe have already submitted a form or intend to, if you haven't heard back from us within 2 days, typically we respond in the first 24 hours, but sometimes we get bogged down and we need 2 days, then check your spam folder, because sometimes my initial message to people lands there and then they think I haven't reached out to them. And in fact, I have. So check your spam if you haven't heard from us, because likely you have. And if you haven't, then just email contact at clarityonfire.com and just let us know you submitted a form and you're like waiting to hear back from us. And likely, some wires got crossed, and then we'll reach out to you.
Okay. We're never going to ignore you.
Never. We don't ignore people who want to work with us. That would be just like
silly,
kind of opposed to having a business, just kind of not helpful. So we would love to talk to some of you. I'm sure we've already talked to some people at this point, but we would like to talk to whoever is remaining that wants to talk to us. And let's see, we'll be back next Friday with the normal person interview that we should have had in April. What a long buildup that was, but still, I believe, going to be completely worth the wait.
And we're going to trust that the timing is going to work out just the way it was meant to.
Exactly. I believe that. All right. So we will talk to you next week.
See you then.